coming up on LinkedIn in a second. Behave yourselves. That's especially for you, Alex. Behave yourself. Not sure about Ingo. I don't know. Kirsten, not sure either. Okay, here we
I can't be
go.
trusted.
No, she can't. No, she can't. That's why I love having her on the show. Here we are. And Zoom should be coming up. And where's my feed on
All right, send
LinkedIn?
in the feed.
Yep, let's do it. Here we
All
are.
right, here we go.
Okay.
Have a great show.
Everybody wave hello. Wave hello. Wave hello.
Hey.
Okay.
Hey,
Here we go. Listen up.
Where does yesterday's future, which is already here, meet today's future, which is about to happen, and tomorrow's future, which could be just minutes away? Welcome to Technology Revolution, the future of now, where host Bonnie D. Graham asks savvy futurists for their predictions about the tech-driven trends that are shaping our future right now. Here's your host, who will take us into the future of now, Bonnie D. Graham.
Thank you to the intro voice, Bonnie D in the house. Happy to be here. Those of you watching us on LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube, I hope you noticed that I designed a new background for the show after 5 years. This is my latest creation. Somebody said, is it Dolly? Is it Midjourney? No, it's Night Cafe Studio. And those are supposed to be hourglasses with a red mic inside. What else would I ask for, right? And you can finally see my name on top. Welcome to Technology Revolution. And I have to blame my guest, Jeremy Kestler, for today's topic because Jeremy was on a show recently and I said, hey, Jeremy, you're a professional coach. You're in the coaching business. I've never done a show specifically about the future of coaching. And we always do, and AI. We're focusing on artificial intelligence. And I said, bring a panel. So he invited, most of you. And of course, Kirsten Boileau, I had to get you back. And Kirsten invited our guest, Emma. So we've got a packed house today. Now, as usual, and by the way, it's March 6th. Where is the year going? I don't know. It's daylight something this. Yes, I know. If you don't like falling ahead and springing back, just go to bed for a day and it'll all even out. I promise you. Okay. So Emma doesn't know this. Alex doesn't know this. And Ingo doesn't know this, but I do my opening as a poem that I co-verse with ChatGPT. And those of you who know Dan Geller, who has been on many of these shows, he has been debating on LinkedIn recently, should we be polite to ChatGPT? Please tell me this, please give me that. They said, throw out all the politesse. You don't have to say please and thank you and would you, and that's very nice. Just tell it what you want. Well, I'm still one of those polite people. And I will tell you that recently the speed of delivery of ChatGPT has been cut in half from 3 seconds to 1.5 seconds for giving me what I asked for. And I still say please and thank you. So there's the proof. So here we go. When I call your name, just wave furiously to the audience because they're all watching you, I promise. So upon the airwaves, Bonnie D stands. I'm actually sitting. Scarlett, mic in her capable hands, explores the future of coaching with AI ad with benefits that'll all make us glad. I hope so, Jeremy. In the coaching realm, AI takes its cue, a sage companion guiding purpose anew. Insights refined as data aligns and blends. Coaching thrives with AI, where my 5 savvy futurist wisdom today transcends. Hear the rhyme, Kirsten? Here we go. Jeremy Kestler, wave hello. Coaching sage, guiding leaders on wisdom stage. From corporations to tech's embrace, he helps to craft leaders with skill and grace. There you go, Jeremy. Hope you like that. Ingo Gulde, hello, with coaching finesse, navigates learning with skill for caress. Passionate for tech, innovation, spark, generative AI, his journey is embarked. Ingo, I hope you enjoyed that. Now we have Emma Marriott. Hello, Emma. Emma, HR's Beacon Bright, founded IrisHR with pure insight. Small businesses thrive in her care, building brands with HR's flair. Emma, I hope you like that. I think she's smiling. There she is with her beautiful background. Alex Haitoglou. I practice that, Alex. Ovida's Guide, AI platform for leadership's stride, enhancing communications core with mentoring for leaders who are wanting more. Alex, I hope you like that. And my good friend Kirsten, we've worked together for what, 100 years, 50 years? I've lost count. Kirsten Boileau, a learning maven, years of experience, her journey engraven. I had to find a rhyme. From social selling to Tairo's quest, that's her company. She champions growth. She brings leadership's best. Kirsten, I hope you like that.
Love
I can
it.
sell all
Very
these poems to
nice.
all of you after the show. We'll have a sale at the back of the table. Together, they join me, a panel profound in coaching and AI, wisdom unbound. Bonnie D hosts with passion so true on the Technology Revolution show, A Journey Anew. So what'd you think? Do we get a thumbs up, everybody?
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ingo's not sure. That was a reluctant thumb up. He's not sure. Well, there's always one in the crowd. Thank you all. So now we want to find out who you really are. Jeremy's been on several of my shows, Kirsten as well. Ingo is new, Emma's new, and Alex is new. So the order today is Jeremy, Ingo, Emma, Alex, and Kirsten. I just want to tell you I love and respect you all, but somebody had to be first and somebody had to be fifth, and you all get equal time. So Jeremy, since you and I collaborated on this topic, I've invited you to be first. Jeremy, would you please spend 3 minutes or less condensing your entire full life story, your career, and everything you love about coaching? Emma's saying, wow, can I do that too? Into 3 minutes. Jeremy, I'm putting you on speaker view. Welcome back. Hi, Jeremy.
Hey, thank you. I'll be very quick. Hi, everyone. I'm Jeremy Kestler, and I'm an executive coach and consultant. I work with clients to become competent, confident, caring, and courageous leaders. I was an internal coach for a global software company, SAP, where I met many of the great friends that are with me today here. My career is spent mostly in learning and development and marketing. I've also worked at Coca-Cola Company and a number of technology startups. I enjoy working with entrepreneurs and growing companies, fast-moving multinational companies as well. And I have a passion for helping people develop their leadership and their coaching skills. And I'm really looking forward to this topic today because I've been looking into it quite a bit. And I think this is going to be a really great forum to discuss with all the rest of you. So looking forward to it.
Thank you. Big question on the table. Can AI coach the coaches? Yes or no, Jeremy? That's all I want is a yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, good start. Let's go around the table. Next up, we have Ingo. Welcome. Nice to meet you. Please tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi everyone, my name is Ingo Gulde and I'm a learning and development consultant at SAP. And so I spent a lot of time at SAP consulting for 10 years, project management, agile project management, and now I'm in a learning role. And for the past 10 years, I've also been an internal coach at SAP, helping our employees, in their careers, advancing their careers and finding new work-life balance and things like that. And I'm also very excited about AI when it came out last year, and experimenting with AI. And I hope I can share a little bit more about that, about my experiments on the show today. So very excited to be here, Bonnie.
Thank you, Ingo. And I love when you use the word experiment because people don't say that very often. And I think that's the truth of what we're doing, aren't we? It's here. It's not going away. Some humans created it somehow. It's growing. It's becoming pervasive, but we're trying it, aren't we? We're testing it. We're experimenting. Thank you. Great word, Ingo. Lovely to have you. Emma Marriott, putting you on speaker view. Please regale us. Who are you? What are you doing? Why are you here? Welcome, Emma.
Yes, thank you, Bonnie. Thank you so much for having me and the lovely poem intro. I love that. So a little bit more about my background. I am previously director of people and culture, and so I kind of had the experience of working within a small startup company and witnessed the small business challenges in managing HR functions efficiently, and then which kind of led me to establish IrisHR in 2022. So we're kind of a boutique independent HR consulting firm, and I'm really passionate about building strong and reputable employer brands through these solutions I do. And so like Ingo was saying, I love to experiment, although it frightens me and it scares me a little bit. It is something I've been experimenting with over the last year as well. And yeah, so I mean, today I'll kind of focus on a little bit more of my coaching experience and the relationships, because I am very passionate about the relationship side and the connecting with one another as well in my work. And yeah, just really looking forward to being here and continuing the conversation. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. Question, why Iris? It's beautiful. Could you move to your right, please, underneath the word Iris? Just shift your body to the right.
Sure.
I want everybody to see the beautiful. Is that an AI creation? Is that a picture? Is that a painting? What is that Iris? It's lovely.
Oh, that's a good question. I believe it might be AI generated. I had a colleague help me with that.
Very, very beautiful. It's ethereal. The colors are just dreamy. Lovely. Why iris? What does that mean to you, Emma?
Oh, that's actually a funny story. So I have 3 girls, and I think when you get into small business, everyone kind of jokes around about the business being the child, like another child. So I was flipping around, if we had a 4th child, it would be Iris probably. And so hence the name. And then there was a few things that kind of popped up in the universe at weird times that kind of just aligned with Iris as well.
Well, it's a lovely brand, and the color, the background is beautiful. So I'm going to say bravo. Very nicely
Thank
done.
you.
We have another purple on the panel. We'll get to Kirsten in a minute. Alex, you're next. Alex, I've just met you Alex was the first one in the Zoom room. I met him about 27.5 minutes ago. So Alex, I spent 10 minutes learning how to pronounce your last name. Now we want to know all about who you are. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you, Bonnie. You did an amazing job in the pronunciation, dare I say. So I had an incredible experience with a coach in my late teens when I was very confused, and I actually managed to meet someone who just asked me a bunch of questions, and that genuinely transformed my life. So quite a few years after that, when I was working at Procter & Gamble, although my role was business and I was doing brand leadership, they had a full-fledged coaching program. So if you wanted, you could also do this and become a coach internally. So I ended up as my night job being running the global Grow coaching program for P&G and seeing the impact it has to train coaching skills in leaders, which was coupled with my personal experience was like a big aha moment of, hey, how could we scale this up? And of course, the impact that it has and the challenge of how do you actually get that? So fast forward a few big corporate roles. I was at Walgreens Boots Alliance. So Walgreens, you know, very well in the US, leading the global healthcare innovation there. And I ended up deciding to become an entrepreneur, also one of the outcomes of coaching discussions. Built and sold a health tech business, but my passion has always been how can we scale up leadership training and development. Now, leadership training and development cannot happen with books and seminars and all the stuff that we do today. It's actually a really big internal change. You want people to generally change who they are and the way they come across to everyone else. So the data in the US, as in the UK, is very, very compelling on why we need this. I think SHRM in the US says 84% of employees say their managers make their job significantly worse, which is an incredibly bad statistic. I mean, so bad it's funny, right? I mean, but we all laugh because we recognize that. So that's when I set off with my partner to build Ovida. The idea is we actually replicate how people actually learn, which is through reviewing what they're doing, data, reflection, a human in the loop to help them, not just throwing data at people because that never changed anyone as far as I know, and then going out to do deliberate practice in the context of leadership and coaching skills development. So my passion is how can we get those 100 million managers around the world, out of which at least 80%, according to the data, doesn't really know what they're doing, to be better for their employees and communicate and connect more. And of course, very important in the process, how do we just build coaching skills overall? And coaches, of course, is one great place to start. Leadership and business is another one.
Thank you very much. Tell me about the name of your company, Ovida. I know Ovida is life. How did you put this together?
So that was one of the considerations, that Ovida is life. There's a Roman poet called Ovid that talked about change and metamorphosis, right? So that was the other one. And we also did need a 5-letter, easy to pronounce word that we can get a website from. So the reality is all of these strings came together. So we're thinking something around Ovid, video. We're doing video recording, right? So vid is part of the name. So we have like that's what happens when you have brainstorming with a group, 3-4 ideas together, and we ended up with this name, which actually we're quite happy with because so far almost no one mispronounces it. So we achieved the first of direction at least.
It's lovely. And I want to challenge you on something you said to help the millions of managers who don't know what they're doing. My take is that they know what they're doing and they don't want to do the right thing because they want to continue to do what they've always done, which is to be bossy and to be very direct and not work with the employees. And they want to retain their shall we say, their own position from their own strength of what they know. So I think it's going to take a lot. I've had some hideously bad managers over the years. Quickly, Alex, go.
I will challenge you on this one. I've also had some hideous managers. My view, and actually having seen how it works in practice, is that most people genuinely don't understand how they come across.
Yes.
And that the vast majority of people, once they do, they're actually at least willing to try to change, if not change. So I'm a little bit more on the optimistic side for human nature. And I think that's what the work we're doing so far confirms that. So I hope long may it continue, but you might have a point as well.
I will take your optimism, and we'll trade stories after the show. Kirsten's heard me tell a lot of those stories. Kirsten Boileau, always lovely to have you back. You look fabulous. How's your new company going? Tairo. Kirsten, for those who haven't seen you on the show before, I want you to tell us a little bit about your company and your learning journey. Kirsten, as always, welcome back.
Oh, thanks, Bonnie, and thanks, Jeremy, for allowing me to join you on this.
Kirsten, we need you a
awesome
little bit louder.
conversation.
Move your mic just a drop.
Is that better?
Yes, thank you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Anyway, thanks, Jeremy, for allowing me to join you on this great conversation. I spent almost 17 years at SAP. In the last kind of 10 years of that time, I was in learning and development in various capacities. And so that's how I, between social selling and marketing learning and then leadership learning, spent a lot of time figuring out how people learn, why people learn, and what I was passionate about when it comes to learning. And so when I was laid off from SAP last February, so it's been over a year now. I know it's kind of crazy. I decided to start my own business, Tairo Consulting, and it has been a great year of learning for myself. Had some really great clients working with me to kind of upskill their own employees and really derive impact for the business. And so that's what I'm really focused on, is helping small businesses that really don't have that access to resources nor need someone full-time. I kind of fill that gap as a learning partner for them and help them become the engaged and impactful employer that their employees need to be able to make the business successful.
You consider yourself a coach?
In some ways, yes. Sometimes I do coaching with leaders as I talk to them. Sometimes I'm doing coaching with individuals, employees, as I'm, developing learning content. But it's not something that I would say that I officially do, but it certainly it's a natural part of the conversation for sure.
Thank you. And this brings up a topic before we get to the opening quotes and the predictions. When I think of coaching, I think of training. I think of mentoring. I think of teaching. Sometimes I think of therapist. We'll leave that one out of the conversation. All of these different words. So we are talking specifically about coaching, and that comes into play with what all of you do. I think we need a part 2 already on this, because we gotta dive into that, right, Emma? Emma say, yeah, we do, Bonnie. Yeah. I'll give you a date. We'll do part 2. So let's go around the table. I have asked each of you to generously contribute an opening quote that has nothing to do with coaching or artificial intelligence or technology, and you're going to relate the quote from a fictional character in a movie or a TV show or a song lyric. You're going to relate the quote to the topic in your own words. Let's take about 2 minutes so we can get to the predictions. So Jeremy Kestler has picked a quote from Sarah Connor, played by Linda Hamilton, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, 1991 sci-fi action film directed by James Cameron, who co-wrote the script. It stars Arnold, I don't have to give a last name, and Robert Patrick, who shows up on all kinds of detective shows, Edward Furlong, and Linda Hamilton. Here is the quote. The unknown future rolls toward us. I face it for the first time with a sense of hope. Because if a machine, a Terminator, can learn the value of human life, maybe we can too. I hope I did a good dramatic reading, Jeremy. Did I pass?
That was excellent. No, that was great.
Thank you. I do good cold reads. Jeremy, 2 minutes. Tell us what this has to do with our topic.
So I just love this quote because the first line is amazing, right? The unknown future rolls toward us. It's very ominous. And most of the stuff, as you know, in Terminator, very ominous in Terminator 1, Terminator 2. But the nice thing about this quote is that it's actually positive. It's optimistic. And it's saying, hey, maybe it's not all bad. And to me, this really boils down the essence of the most common question, at least right now, that people are talking about in terms of AI, which is what are the good things about it and what are the potentially dangerous or catastrophic things about it. So I thought this quote really represented that well.
Very, very nice. Thank you very much. I'm not much for Terminator movies, but now I'm going to have to watch because I want to hear that quote. Ingo has picked a classic quote. Haven't had this on the show in a while. Yoda, voiced by the wonderful Frank Oz, of course, Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, 1980 epic space opera film. I never figured out the opera part of space opera. The sequel to Star Wars 1977. It's the second film in the Star Wars film series and the fifth chronological chapter of the Skywalker saga. Yoda, we know, appears first in the film The Empire Strikes Back, a small green humanoid alien who's powerful with the Force. And let's go to the quote. This is a wonderful one. Do or do not. There is no try. Ingo, this is a mantra for so many people, and I use it when I'm coaching friends or family, saying, you're going to do it or not. Get off the dime. There is no try. Ingo, how does this relate to our topic, please?
Exactly. Let's stop talking. Let's just do it, right? Let's do things. Let's try things. Back to the theme of experimenting. Let's try things out, right? How would, for example, an office in Harrisburg look like if it had this view, right? This is an AI generated office that you can see in the background, and I really like it. This office would not exist, by the way, in reality, because there's a bridge where where you would have this view. So, you know, and yeah, instead of talking much, let's just try it. And so I did a lot of trying with AI. You know, the first thing that came to mind to me, okay, now I have this great AI tool. It can answer any question that I have, right? It can even play roles. And hey, can it even be a coach? Can it be a coach? Can it simulate what I do as a coach? And so I tried it out, and I was amazed by the results that I got. I was really amazed by the quality, and that's also reflected in my predictions that I have, and also the optimism that I have for AI in this field. And I think it will change a lot. And we can talk about more about the predictions that I have. But I'm really excited about it, and yeah, let's do more. I think it's the time, just like when the internet was born, right, in 1993 or so. We are, I think, at a similar point in time where it's gonna be exponential growth in what we will see that AI can do for us, and especially in coaching as well.
Thank you, Ingo. I appreciate the positivity, and Alex, you used the word optimism. There are a lot of shows, a lot of radio. I still consider this live radio, not a podcast, because I'm not recording and editing it. Sorry, I make that distinction. However, no, I'm proud of that distinction. However, I don't do pessimism. I don't do shows on, oh my God, it's going to take over the world. We're all going to lose our jobs and we're going to be, little cogs in an automated wheel. I don't do that. You can go anywhere else for that. I just want to talk about the positives, about the opportunities, about the experiments that might give us benefits and features that will enhance our life, or creative. Ingo, you wanted to add something, or you just
Yeah, I just want to add a quote to
yes,
that.
Please.
It's kind of fitting. People often ask, will AI replace us? And I think the answer is AI will not replace us, but someone who knows how to use AI will replace us.
Yes, I've heard that too.
Yes,
Yes,
I think that's a good one.
Very much. Yes, absolutely true. Well, companies that are laggards in all kinds of things are going to go out of business, or their leaders will be replaced by people who know how to harness new technology. We've been talking about that for years. AI is the new kid on the block. There we go. Emma Marriott. Any relation to the Marriotts, I have to ask?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay. Well, I don't know if it's unfortunately. I just had to ask because it's spelled with 2 R's and 2 T's, and I'm sure everybody asks. Emma has picked a quote from Joy, voiced by Amy Poehler, the wonderful, talented. Inside Out, 2015 American animated coming-of-age film. It follows the inner workings of the mind of Riley, she's kind of a preteen who struggles to adapt when her family relocates to a new city. She has to go to a new school. 5 personified emotions control her thoughts and actions. I will tell you, Emma, that 2 people recommended this movie to me within a day of each other. The people do not know each other. One is my daughter. One was my therapist. And I watched it with my family. I'm not shy to say that. And that's why I mentioned coach and therapist. I watched it with my family. I was clapping. I was crying. Jeremy knows the word, I was kvelling. Somebody absolutely brilliant wrote this movie. If you haven't seen it, it's an adult animated movie about what goes on in our minds, our personas, our egos, our super egos, what controls us, all of the emotion. It is absolutely brilliant. I didn't even recognize Amy Poehler's voice. So here is the quote Emma has picked. Emma, just brilliant. First of all, you met me, then you met sadness. then you met fear, then you met disgust, then you met anger, but you'll never know what other emotions might show up sooner or later. Oh, Emma, thank you for this quote. I know the movie. For a change, I know the movie. Emma, what does this have to do with our topic? Go ahead.
Well, for me, I mean, so many things. And I did resonate with your comment about coaching being, therapy, being training, being coaching itself. So I don't consider myself a therapist by any means, but I have sought out therapy personally, and I do love and I'm passionate about, the behavioral science and our minds and how that all works and plays into each other. And really my view is that, yes, AI ought to be embraced in coaching as a tool. Though I don't think it's going to remove, those layers and complexities of our human experience, which is messy. And then that quote kind of said it all for me. It's, when we meet someone and we're connecting with someone, you might meet a little bit of emotion. And then as time evolves and you're kind of continuing to grow that trusting relationship and building that connection, you see a lot more emotion show up sooner or later. And that's really the comfort of both parties, right? And I don't think that AI will ever fully be able to take that away, and those relationships. So I think those are still extremely important. And humans are messy, and one thing I did like as well is like inside out is like that is to me almost what the coaching process could look like. It almost turns us inside out, and we get to these places that are so uncomfortable but are so necessary to kind of help us move forward. And I think Alex talks about that experience as a young, that coaching experience and what that kind of did for the evolution of personal self too.
Thank you. Brilliant. Lovely. I was so excited to see that movie quoted. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Alex, I'm looking at your quote. You've picked a quote from, classic Dead Poet Society, Professor John Keating, played by the wonderful, who left us for so many reasons way too soon, Robin Williams. And it's a 1989. They call it a teen drama film. I think it's much more than a teen drama film. I think it had a lot more gravitas and a lot more clout in the movie world and in the social world than that. And the quote is, no matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world. Alex, how does this relate to our topic?
Yeah, in multiple ways. I think, first of all, it's very impressive that this new generation of generative AI has actually in many ways cracked the code of language, and it's getting very, very fast better at it. So whether we consider it intelligence or non-intelligence, whether it's sentient or non-sentient, all these other questions, they matter, but they don't matter as much as the reality that we currently have a very, very complex statistical model that is able to hold the conversation, come up with new ideas or poems, as we all know, and effectively now we can see that it generates genuinely new things, right? And that I think is something that is a fundamental mind shift that's required on how we philosophically approach AI, and also how we consider the humans being in some areas specifically unique and gifted, and maybe that's the case in other areas, but definitely not in the space of words and creation. Additionally, I think the impact of this, which I think is not going to be diminished in any way with AI being a master of words, is that there are ideas and words that create feelings and action, and they shape the world, and they're very likely to shape the world of AI also in the future. And I don't think this is going to change, because effectively it is an operating system, right? So language is an operating system, and not surprisingly, AI is also learning that operating system right now. So I think it links with the topic. It has some fundamental implications about how we view ourselves and how do we view ourselves in relation to AI. I'm a massive supporter of talking politely to AI, not just because it will remember everything and it will remember who was polite, who was not in the future, as I usually joke, but because it actually makes the person talking to the AI better by being polite. So there's some really interesting concepts around how words shape us and how words and ideas shape the world.
Thank you. And those of you who know the background lingo, an AI, a chat like ChatGPT, is an LLM, large language model. There's that word. Thank you. Let's move to Kirsten. You've picked a quote. She picked a scene from the movie. The movie is Love Actually, 2003 British romantic Christmas holiday comedy film. That's a lot of genres in there, Kirsten. And the quote is from the character Jamie says in English and Aurelia says in Portuguese. He says, it's my favorite time of day driving you. And she says, it's the saddest part of my day leaving you. Kirsten, I'm not going to give the whole overview of the movie, but what I read, it was just lovely. It's a romance. So, Kirsten, how does this relate to our topic?
Well, I mean, of course, they're speaking different languages, right? And they can't understand each other, but the human connection still happens. I don't, if everybody's not familiar with Love Actually, ultimately, you know, they do end up falling in love and coming together towards the end of the movie. And it is really, for me, when it comes to AI and coaching, that human connection is so important and will never, as Emma said, and I think several others have said, that human connection is never going to go away. AI can't replace that human connection. So no matter what language is being spoken, no matter how many different opposing views people might have, that they still ultimately come together at the human, very human level. And that's how I felt it really was appropriate for today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to have to watch that movie. It looked very, very interesting. Thank you, Kirsten. You usually bring me song lyrics from Canadian bands that I've never heard of. And so I said, oh, a movie I can find. Thank you very much. Thank you all for the quotes. Let's speedily move into, I like that word, speedily move into our predictions round. I'm going to pick one from each of you. I will pre-select it. I'll put it into a private chat to you. I've got one in the chat already for Jeremy. Take 2 minutes to unpack it, Jeremy, because we have a lot to cover. That's why I know we're going to have to do a part 2 because we have a lot to cover. And I love a packed house, and this is great. And then if anybody has anything to say, I'll give you a 1 minute, either a comment, a challenge, a rebuttal, agree or disagree. We're not going to go around the full table, but I think you all have 10 fingers. And one of them in the middle is the mean one. I don't respond to that, but wiggle any of the nice fingers. Emma got it. And I will see you in a 1 minute comment. So Jeremy says, AI powered internal coaching will grow within organizations. Internal coaches can learn more rapidly, either more rapidly or more rapidly. I'm not sure which one you meant there, Jeremy. By using AI tools, managers can also develop their coaching skills independently using AI. Internal coaching is already a rapidly growing segment of the coaching industry. AI will help to fuel this trend. Jeremy, go.
Yeah, so this is about internal coaching, right? So I was an internal coach. Ingo's an internal coach. Alex works with internal coaches. And I've always felt that this was a growing part of the coaching industry, mainly because external coaching is more expensive and there's all kinds of positive benefits of having internal coaches. Those people know the culture. They benefit themselves from helping their colleagues. They feel that they're contributing to the company. It goes on and on. And so the idea that AI would meet that need, I think, is really powerful because a lot of the internal coaches that I observed, they needed like a little bit of a support to get over that initial hump. Sometimes people would take the training and then not coach. They would just kind of go back to their normal day jobs. And so I feel like these AI tools can help support those internal coaches to feel a little bit more confident and really get them started doing what the company wants them to do. And so that was kind of how I saw AI meeting that need.
Thank you very much. Anybody have any? Ingo, please join us.
Yeah. So one of my experiments was, could I use AI to simulate a coaching conversation where I am the coach and the AI is the coachee? Well, I tried it out and I asked it to do it, and it actually responded it was about, I think, work-life balance or something like that. And then I asked it the kind of the closing question to kind of confirm the contract. Is this really what you want to talk about? And it thought for a little bit, 1.5 seconds, right? And then it switched to a different aspect. So it changed its mind, and so I could then, as a coach, kind of experience an almost real conversation. And now with the ChatGPT a voice feature, I could have a real conversation with an AI voice, which is very realistic.
Very realistic, interesting concept. Jeremy, anything you want to say back to Ingo before I move on?
No, I can say that he shared those with me because he emails whenever he gets a great result out of the AI thing. And it's so cool, the potential that this has for training, because you can practice with, you know, an automated response, which is really cool. And it can do even more than that. You know, it can play either role. So it's really great as kind of an automated practice buddy, you know.
I will quickly tell you, Ingo, I'm combining three of your predictions because they're short, and I think they all say they embellish the same thought. But a recent show, I don't know, Kirsten or Jeremy, you might have been on my crystal ball prediction show when Mary Nunnally suggested that she was using ChatGPT to have a conversation with people who were no longer alive or people who were fictional. And I've started to do several shows this year. We've done one. I have two more scheduled. If you all want to do it, let me know. Where we're going to be picking one person in the arts, music, dance, theater, novels, anything in a broad sense of art, who is no longer alive, and have a conversation with them where you ask ChatGPT, what would this person say about artificial intelligence? And then ChatGPT brings you what the person predictably may or may not say. And the second one would be with a sidekick of a famous fictional character. So it could be Sherlock Holmes has Dr. Watson and Batman has Robin. You get the idea. I'm putting together several of those. So if anybody wants to do that, it's a lot of fun talking about having a dialogue with ChatGPT. Thank you for listening. So let's go to Ingo, and I'm reading three of your predictions. I like these all. He says, AI coaches will replace 80% of human coaches. Okay. AI coaches will be available 24/7, 365 via chat, audio, or video, metaverse, and AI coaches will be better than 99% of human coaches, she said, crying. Okay, we're not saying jobs are being taken away, but this is an interesting prediction. I'll let you go with it. Ingo, 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Bonnie, I thought I need to be a little bit provocative, right? So
I'll say.
and maybe some of my predictions will not come true. However, I think what will happen is that we will ultimately be able to connect what we have now very rudimentarily, like in text or even audio, but it all will eventually be connected with video. And eventually, you know, maybe we'll have the opportunity to have coaching in the metaverse where you talk to a real person or to an avatar, where you can have kind of a very close to a human to human connection. So maybe we will get to a point where we won't even be able to differentiate, is this a human or is this AI? Just look at the pictures, right, that Midjourney and DALL-E can create. Sometimes you cannot tell, is it a real picture, is it a real person, or is it, you know, just generated? Maybe at the end this doesn't really matter, because it's, you know, isn't coaching all about helping people to overcome their challenges and, you know, to fulfill their vision, and so maybe this question doesn't really matter, but so I think that's where we are going to head, and that, I think this is quite exciting. But yeah, but before we get there, I think we have to solve some of the technological challenges too, because all this requires a lot of computing power. And so maybe
Yes.
once quantum computing catches up and is ready for prime time, then perhaps we will be able to see some of those things come to fruition.
Thank you. Anybody have a 1-minute comment? Okay, Alex, 1 minute, go.
I have a 1-minute comment, but actually it's one of my comments, which is almost the opposite prediction from Ingo. So I'm wondering, can I use the 2 minutes now, or should I go?
No, because we have to give more we got 3 more people to go. Go ahead.
Okay, look, I think actually we have already got a lot of experience in areas where AI has been already better than humans for many years. And just knowing that you have a human on the other side makes a big difference. I mean, 2 examples that I use very regularly. The one is chess. Machines play better chess than humans for the last 25 years. And yet we have more humans today playing with other humans online, where you don't even know if it's another human. You just trust that chess.com is not lying to you, right? So actually, I think that it matters to know that there's a human on the other side fundamentally. And the second example, which I'll go a bit more into detail, is if you look at other areas where AI has dramatically improved data and insight, it has democratized things like it does with coaching. But if you look at sports, I can get an app on my phone that will have 100 times more insight than any human sport teacher or PE personal trainer had 20 years ago. Yet today we have significant higher number of personal trainers, because when something gets democratized, the need for that becomes much bigger. And what AI cannot do, and I don't think will do anytime soon, is build the relationship that we are hardcore DNA wired for in order to allow the change to happen. So although I agree that we'll have AI everywhere and coaching will be massively done by AI, I think actually there's going to be more need for humans to engage once people understand the value of coaching, as they did with sports app, as they did with chess, as they did with everything else.
I like what you said, and that's a perfect lead in. And Ingo, thank you for those predictions. Provocative is good. Now, I'm moving to Emma's prediction number 1. It's long. I'm going to read a little bit, and I think this was a perfect jumping off point where we just finished talking. She says, the rise of AI in coaching, while offering tools for soft skills development, raises concerns about its limitations in understanding human emotions and providing genuine empathy. I'm going to stop right there. That's a mouthful. Emma, take your 2 minutes. And this goes back to the movie Inside Out, doesn't it? All of the emotions. So
A little bit, yeah. And just in general, what I'm passionate about.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Emma.
I think for this one, it was really just talking about, there was a study that went out from Deloitte that was talking about saying that all jobs will be about soft skills and making, by 2030. And we are seeing that shift in the kind of labor markets. And so I guess it's around the fear that, AI shouldn't stop folks from continuing to develop the soft skills because they are still fundamentally needed in our workplaces and in our lives. And so I guess the fear too is a little bit around what Ingo was saying in terms of practicing. So if you're continuing to practice on AI, and then my approach would kind of be, okay, at some point you got to stop practicing with AI and then go practice on a real person. And it's still, it's going to be messy. It's not going to be perfect. And one of the tactics I like to use with my clients and is, you can say like, this is my first time doing this, and this is scary, and this conversation is hard. And though I'm choosing to show up and be here and have this conversation with you, and so you're bringing heart into it and that connection piece again. And that was my primary prediction there.
Thank you very much. Anybody have anything to say about emotions, real human emotions, empathy? Ingo, go, and then Kirsten. Go, Ingo.
Okay. Yeah, I was just I would challenge that it cannot read emotions. I think it's very good at recognizing patterns in text. So from there, it can already infer a lot of the emotion that might be going on. So it's maybe not perfect, but as it will be able to perhaps also get the body feedback and be able to analyze that, how your facial muscles react to a certain question that you have as a coach, for example. It might even be better than a human to detect if the pupils dilate or constrict and all that. A human would not be able to kind of take in all of these data points and be able to react to it. So I think it could then even be a great help for a coach to have maybe this feedback, and maybe even after the session, right? Maybe that goes more into Alex's that the coach can learn from that and get better.
Micro bursts. Kirsten, go ahead. 1 minute.
I was just going to 100% agree with Emma that that human to human connection, as I kind of pointed out with my quote, that human to human connection is going to be so important for coaching. And I think I might agree with Alex that at that initial conversation, or perhaps kind of onboarding or something along those lines from a coaching perspective, might happen with the AI. But there is humans, we see it when we're talking to we're trying to talk to a company from a customer service perspective. We might interact with the machine to start with, but then we want to talk to a human because they can't can't understand us. And maybe in time they will get to where Ingo's saying, where they can read all of the facial expressions and dilated pupils and all that kind of stuff. But I still think, as Emma said, humans are messy and we desire that connection.
I love it. Hot mess is another phrase. I don't know if anybody's accused me of that, but there are a lot of TV characters who say, boy, is she a hot mess, or he. Alex, 1 minute, go.
So what Ingo just said, by the way, I fully agree that AI will be and is already able to actually understand or at least interpret in a decent accuracy emotions. By the way, this is what you probably don't know that, Ingo, that's what we do at Ovida. We're looking at multimodal, we're looking at video. we're looking at movement, we're looking at tonality, we're looking at all these things, right? But the question is, and it will become significantly better at having those interactions, but having the data versus getting someone to agree to change something about themselves, there's a big gap in between. And that gap, I think, can only really currently, and at least until we plug ourselves into our neurons into a frame, which also might happen, right? But at least until that moment, that gap currently is plugged with the way we humans have learned how to change stuff and how to grow. And that is, frankly, biologically, through parents, maybe teachers, maybe early years of school. So our whole neurology is designed to be able to change through a relationship. And that is something that is very, very hard at this stage for AI to do, even though I agree that understanding data and interpreting, there are some technical challenges that we can go about that I think will be resolved eventually. I don't think this is just for the now. But I think what we're far from actually replacing is the process, the journey of change, which is universal. It's coded in our DNA. It involves some sort of, in every history, like the hero's journey, there's always a mentor, there's always someone who comes in and helps instigate the change. And that's something that I'm pretty sure currently and for the next few years, AI will be very far from doing. And I think this is potentially the role of the coach, a lot more than following models or a specific path towards a solution or a goal.
Thank you, Alex. I'm going to interject here because I have your prediction number 3. I've got 8 minutes left. I want one prediction from Alex and one from Kirsten. So, and I need a minute to close. So you each get your 2.5 minutes, and we won't go around the table because we're going to do part 2 and we'll save it. So Alex says, the role of human coaches will transform, leveraging AI for objective metrics and quality assessments, thus enhancing their coaching effectiveness. So let's talk just briefly about how do you measure whether you're doing a good job? We haven't talked about that. Alex, 2 minutes, go.
Absolutely. And I think it's both for coaches and clients, but I think also there's the other aspect, which is when you look at leadership development, right? Currently, you have deployed more and more businesses deploy coaches to help their leaders, right? And what do we currently do as coaches? We go in and we have one discussion maybe every couple of weeks, and we talk about what the leaders want to talk about at this specific moment, right? Now, 70 to 80% of the discussions in business coaching are about relationships, either with my boss or with my employees or with my peers, right? This is pretty much, and those of you that have done business coaching, I hope you heavily agree with me on this one. So it's all down to fundamentally communication skills and some of the coaching skills, which are building trust, asking great questions, being present, being able to hold space. These are the skills that fundamentally all of these leaders require. So what AI can do, it may not be able to tell us absolutely this is best or this is worse, but it can show us patterns. And one of the things that we found out, for example, which my mind was blown, is that certain characteristics in a coaching discussion, having now measured and benchmarked very experienced coaches from around the world, are very similar regardless of sex, age, coaching school and background, nationality and culture, native or non-native English speakers, right? So we found out, for example, that the more experienced coaches go around the world, the less they talk, even if they come from languages where people talk a lot, right? Or the way they ask questions becomes very similar, even if their cultural background is completely different. So I think what AI can do, very similar to sport, is to give us some fundamental metrics. If I know, for example, I'll play a tennis metaphor, right? I don't know what's the perfect game of tennis. No one knows that. But I know that unless my athlete can play at 120 miles per hour serve or whatever the number is, they will never be a professional. Similar way, AI can give us certain benchmarks that can say, hey, these are pretty much the table stakes. You need to get this right. And then, of course, on top, I think that's why human in the loop is important. Then you start choosing what do I want to change and what do I need to improve. And I think that's where it actually makes a massive difference.
Thank you very much. I wanted to get that in. That was an important one out because we haven't talked about quality measurement, if those two words go together. Kirsten, I've got your prediction and then we're going to close. She says virtual coaching assistants will be widely used by human coaches to automate a variety of routine tasks, scheduling appointments, analyzing client progress. There we go. Even potentially delivering on basic coaching interventions. By using this kind of tool, human coaches will be able to focus on things that require a high degree of, here we go, Emma, emotional connection and intelligence, building relationships. Kirsten, You can take a whole 3 minutes. They're yours. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm not sure that I have 3 minutes of things to say, but I will start off by saying I think that there is a huge potential for one of the things that when I was at SAP, we would have these pockets of skill sets, and we wanted to be able to scale them. And one of the things that as humans, we are really limited by how much we can do in any given day. And so by utilizing AI assistants or AI tools from a coaching perspective, there's a lot of scalability that's available through that, whether that is through, kind of monitoring and dealing with those more mundane administrative tasks, or it's looking further into how a coach is interacting with a coachee and what that looks like in terms of tasks that have been assigned to them, or and monitoring those things, or giving feedback on different steps that they might be taking in their coaching journey. Those kinds of things allows for the coach to be a lot more available to a lot more people. And that is, I think, I forget whether it's Ingo or Alex said that there will be way more coaches in the future, because I think this is Alex came along from this one, that, AI kind of sits in the front and the foreground, but as people progress through that coaching relationship, they really want to talk to a human being, that it allows for that scalability for certain aspects of that coaching relationship.
Thank you. The business of coaching, right, Kirsten? How do you do
Yes,
it
yeah.
efficiently? How do you organize it? How do you maintain it? How are you good at what you do and keep your appointments and keep everything straight? Yes. The infrastructure of our lives, if I can say that. Jeremy, what do you think? Good panel?
This was awesome. I was going to say, I think I could continue with this discussion for like 12 hours. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but
I'm going to give you another 57 minutes. And as soon as we get off the air,
yeah,
we're going to book part 2, because we have so many predictions. All I'm going to need from each of you is a new fictional quote. That's it. And I'll move the order around, the speaker order, so that Kirsten's not last and Jeremy's not first, and I'll mix you all up, and I'll play with that. So what I want to do is thank our engineer, Matt Widener at Voice America Business. I want you all to, we're not quite done yet. I want you to wave goodbye to LinkedIn. 1 wave to LinkedIn, 2 waves to Facebook, 1 wave to YouTube. Oh my goodness. Yes, I added that. It's funny, when you do 4 live shows a week, YouTube piles up, and all of a sudden you've got 20 shows, 30 shows, 40 shows, and you go, oh my God, did I really do that much radio? Yes, I did. Jeremy, I want to thank you for collaborating with me to put together a panel on coaching. It was long overdue. And I got some comments on LinkedIn this week, and people said, yes, it's about time. Great topic. We have 2 minutes left. So we didn't rehearse this. But Jeremy, you're going to help me. I want everybody to put up their finger, their no finger, the second finger. I want you to get ready to wag. Kirsten, you can do it. Ingo, Alex, force yourself. Emma, I know you're going to do it. On the count of 3, you're going to join me in saying no, just like that. People say the future is already here. And our answer is 1, 2, 3. No.
Oh.
Come on, louder. No.
No.
Got a couple laggards in there, but it wasn't bad. Jeremy, join me on that. 1, 2, 3. No. There you go. That's the energy. That's the Jeremy Kestler energy. I want to thank all of you. Emma, delightful to meet you. Alex, wonderful. Ingo, wonderful. Kirsten, you're always welcome back. And Jeremy, I'm so glad we did this. Bonnie D. Graham signing off. It's been another live edition of Technology Revolution, the future of now. Panel, don't go away. Everybody wave goodbye. Matt, are we out?
Yep, we are all clear. Great job, everyone.
Thank you.